It's an old saying that you can't judge a book by its cover. Okay, but it's fun to, and sometimes it's useful to do so. And I find it very interesting to compare. This is like the original cover of The Giver. And notice, I mean, it is called The Giver. The old guy who is inspired by his experience working with a young man to make a change. Right? I mean, he is the one who, after all, comes up with the plan. He decides, even in his old age, he decides to change, and that's a big part of the story. So you could read the novel as about him and his decision to take action for what he thinks is right. But he's inspired by, of course, by Jonas. Now notice what has happened with the film cover. With the film poster.
No old man.
What happened to the old man?
It's in the back.
There he is. Way back here.
That's an old lady.
And there's a lady.
And here is
the chief elder. Stop looking at me.
Chief elder. Now, is the chief elder much of a character in the novel?
No.
I mean, really, very good, Christine. I was just going to actually point that out, because what we basically have in the background here is what the film has done is created an antagonist for the giver. So there's a kind of battle between these two that we see in the film that we certainly don't see in the book, correct? Meanwhile, we've got this. And that's in the foreground of the picture. It's in color. This is what you notice. The very handsome young man and the pretty girl.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, if you didn't know anything about this story, what would you think this story might be about?
The girl and the guy,
I mean, if like a boy meets girl, or there's some sort of romantic story. Is there any romantic story in the book?
No, not really.
Alright, so what is new in the film adaptation? The answer to that question is that the film introduces a new theme that we really don't see in the novel, and that is the power of friendship. To support this theme, the film uses what's called a motif, and I'll give you a little definition of this a little bit later on. And that is the triangle. I've read the book a few times, and I don't think I recall ever seeing reference to a triangle in the novel. What I'm going to argue is that the triangle is a motif, and it sort of supports this new theme, which is the power of friendship. Here they are. The film opens with some voice-over narration at the very beginning of the movie. We've been friends our whole lives. Okay, and you can even see their formation is triangular. Okay, and there's more triangularity here. And here. And this is the Shrub Bush thing where the three friends meet. It's like they call it at one point later in the movie, like our triangle. It's their meeting place. With the water door.
Yeah. Water door.
Maybe it's like the little bit of fun that they're allowed to have is to jump through this water door. I mean, who wouldn't want to jump through a water door? Alright, now a motif, okay, is something we see again and again in a story. It can be many, many different things. It could be a color, it could be an object, it could be a shape. But if we keep seeing it again and again in a story or in a film, we should notice it. Consider whether it has any meaning. Here again is more triangle. More triangle. This is Asher, and he's talking about the triangle of rocks, which we later see in the film here.
Triangle again.
Out in beyond the boundaries of the community, anyway. And here is the drone.
So high tech.
Yes, they made the film very high tech, didn't they?
Are they actually?
And then again here,
triangle.
When you think of a triangle, what associations do you have with that?
Yeah.
Math, you associate it with geometry,
Sandwich.
the Illuminati. Okay, yes. Yeah. It's there's just something sort of ancient and stable about a triangle. So we have all these triangles, and then you say, well, aren't Jonas, Asher, and Fiona also friends in the novel? And that is true, yes. But there's no sense of a close triangular friendship between the three of them. When Fiona is first introduced, it seems like he doesn't really even know her very well. She was a good student, polite, but she had a sense of fun as well, and it didn't surprise him that she was working with Asher today. To me, I read that, I get the sense that she's really closer maybe to Asher than to Jonas. I definitely don't get get the sense from this, there's this really close, lifelong friendship between the three. There are really only a couple scenes, there are only 2 scenes as far as I know. There's the ceremony, and then when they all are at the house of the old, when the 3 characters are ever in the same scene in the novel. So these 2 characters, in the novel at least, aren't really very important to the plot. Ash is just used to suggest that the community has a sense of humor. My view of him. Beyond that, he has no real function in the story. Fiona, she is just a tool, I would argue, that the author uses to explain how the community deals with the stirrings. Really, the most time she's given in the novel is when Jonas talks about her appearing in his dream. Beyond that, she's seldom seen. And that is why, after the ceremony, the 2 characters basically disappear. The story essentially becomes very much focused Jonas and his family, and Jonas and the giver. Now there is a friendship, though, in the novel. The friendship that the novel emphasizes is the friendship between Jonas and the giver. Alright, Jonas says as he's leaving, he felt a very deep sadness that he had left his closest friend behind. When he says his closest friend, he's referring to the giver, not to Asher or Fiona. In the film, Jonas asks Fiona to go with him to elsewhere. Well, he asked someone to go with him to elsewhere in the book, but it's not Fiona. It's the giver. I'll do it, but I want you to come with me. I want you to come, giver, Jonas pleaded. I understand they'll need you, but I'll need you too. Please come with me. All right, over and over. And that just shows how close they have become. They've become very close. Very close friends. So there is a friendship. Meanwhile, in the film, all right, here they are in their triangle of friend power. Okay.
Friend power.
I guess tomorrow everything's going to be different. This is right before the ceremony. No, Jonas says. Tomorrow the only thing that changes is what we do. It doesn't change who we are.
Dramatic.
Asher, quick question. Who are we? Friends. Friends forever.
It's so cute. What the?
You know, and if you're asking too, why the water door? Well, it looks good on film too. I mean, and filmmakers are they're thinking visually. It does provide privacy, maybe not as much privacy as a real door.
And this scene shows like
No, but can't like the drone just see?
This scene shows like the most like it shows the friendship between Asher and Jonas.
Yes, it does. That's exactly why I'm showing this, is that in this scene we see this sort of agreement that they will remain friends forever. It's like a pact, friendship pact. And she'll bring it up later on when he comes in. And she's like being prepared to be released. And she says sarcastically, friends forever, right?
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, you're going to mention that? I'm trying to zoom in on the 3 of them inside the...
You can see it from the top.
And so the question is, will the triangle of friendship survive?
It did.
No.
Yes, because what Jonas cannot do in the novel, I'm arguing, he can do in the film. Right? He's frustrated in the novel because he can't get Asher, he can't transfer any memories to Asher. He can't wake them up. He can't wake Fiona up. He can't wake Lily up. He doesn't have that power. So Jonas, in the film, he's able to share his wisdom, and I don't know how else to explain it other than it's through the power of friendship.
The magic.
The magic of friendship. First Fiona, okay, who he convinces to stop taking the medication. Does that happen in the novel?
No.
Nope. And then Asher. We think Asher has gone all the way to the dark side, don't we? So that's very unexpected. So in the film there are 3 Jonases, is my argument.
That's so like weird.
What the?
Whereas in the novel there's only one Jonas and he must act alone. Yes, there's the giver there of course too, but in terms of saving the community, he doesn't have allies.
Gabe.
Gabe's not really helping him. If anything, Gabe's slowing him down.
Gabe calls play.
3 Jonases. A triangle of rebellion against the lies of the elders. Alright, so in the novel, Fiona becomes a killer of the old. Fiona is already being trained in the fine art of release. This is what the giver says right after Jonas witnesses his father injecting the new child with the release potion, the death serum. He says she's very efficient at her work, your red-haired friend. Feelings are not part of the life she's learned. Very different portrait of Fiona is painted in the novel. Meanwhile, in the film,
So
Wow.
So cute.
Oh, good.
Oh.
I don't think it
Look
does
at
it.
you, man.
it's so cute.
You can just see it.
That's
Wait till
so
see it.
cute.
and then you might recognize this scene. She's holding this baby carrier, and there's a chase.
The
Chase
chase.
the wrong
There's a
person.
chase.
The ring.
They chased the wrong person.
I know they do. They chase her. They chase the girl with the empty
Baby
baby bin.
Baby bin.
Baby bit.
Meanwhile, the one who they're looking for, Jonas, is right there. But they decide to chase her. Which just shows you how why I just despise chase scenes. Now, in the novel, community clown Asher is given the assignment of assistant director of recreation, which in other words means he helps organize games. Meanwhile, in the film,
Oh.
Drone flyer.
Asher is a stone-faced master drone pilot. And somehow he has risen up to the ranks of like the most skilled drone pilot, alright, who they give the responsibility of tracking down Jonas, who is a threat to the foundations of the community. They give the job to Asher. We can't imagine such a thing from the novel.
This is why communities are so safe.
But he's got a heart of gold.
Wow.
He captures Jonas, sucks him up into that high-tech
He drops.
suction system,
Oh.
and then drops him down into the water.
Why didn't the baby die?
Yeah, but the baby should
drown.
probably
They can't like breathe underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
baby
don't know how to
some
swim.
reason.
Hey.
The baby should have died like 30
Yeah,
times.
that's why the baby should.
Hey, he gave him a memory of how to breathe.
What? No, just quickly while they're in the air, suck
He gave him a memory of a fish.
Oh.
Oh, but I mean, why don't the memories go all the way back to the beginning of evolution? So he gives him the memory of how to breathe with gills.
But you don't have any.
gills.
Yeah, Yeah.
But he,
I'm a true to
if he,
fifth grade.
you know, the way the memories work, it doesn't matter if you have gills or not. If you remember having gills, you have gills. So, in the end, it's sunshine and happiness. Because of the power of friendship. Friendship really is what saves the community. The fact that these three do not betray each other. The fact that the community cannot pull them apart. Alright, Fiona, she helps Jonas escape. And Asher helps him escape too. Without those friends helping him, he would have never made it elsewhere, and we wouldn't have this beautiful, happy, sunshiny ending.
The mom is annoying.